Hi and welcome to this series of short videos which will demonstrate and show you, the user or the technician, how to use NetSupport Notify in your organisation. There are lots of different tools used to communicate in an organisation, including email, voice calls, instant messaging. With urgent notifications, though, you need to ensure they are found and seen instantly, especially when that technology fails or there are potential delays experienced with emails entering busy inboxes where people sometimes don't get to see that pertinent information straight away. NetSupport Notify provides streamlined communication, enabling staff or students to immediately see updates sent through the system, such as things like the mail server will be off at 5 p.m. or we're experiencing difficulties with our file server, don't save for the moment. These kind of things, these time-critical messages that your users need to receive and be seen straight away. So we hope you find these videos useful and enjoy them as you work your way through. Please use the chapters shown at the bottom to move through to the parts that are relevant to the things you're looking for. But then again, you could always view the whole series of videos all combined together in one go. How you access this is entirely up to you, but we hope you find them useful in your use of NetSupport Notify. So to get you started with NetSupport Notify, there is a fantastic deploy utility which you can launch from the NetSupport Notify program group. Now this gives you as a network admin the ability to install and configure Notify on multiple workstations in really easy ways, and saves you time because you don't actually need, if you're using the deploy tool, to actually visit each individual machine. You can deploy Notify to all of your clients straight from your chair in your office. Fantastic. So what you need to do is simply go to Add in the bottom left hand corner, as you can see just here, and just enter the IP range of the machines within your setting. And we've got a demo one set up here, so ours is already pre-populated. If you've done it before, then you can just simply choose yours from that pre-arranged list. Now when the list comes up, you'll notice perhaps if you've got Notify in your rollout already, if you can see a little N to the left of your computer name, that means that Notify is already installed there. Now you can, if you want to, use this deploy tool as well to push out updates, and we can talk about how we do that in just a few moments. Yeah, if you wanted to just install Notify onto machines which don't have it, the way you know which machines don't have Notify installed is, as you can see on the one I've just selected here, you can see there is no N next to the computer name. And if you wanted to select multiples, you can do your shortcut keys like Shift click to get a range, Control click to select individual ones across a range, so forth and so on. But we're just going to deploy this to one device right now. So you simply go to Deploy, click the little drop down on the right hand side and go to the option Setup. Once you're in there, you simply click Start to begin, and you'll see then there's a variety of options in here which will help you based upon what sort of thing you want to have happen. So if you want your users to know that an installation is about to happen, then simply click Prompt User to commence installation. If you want it to just work in the background, then go for it and leave it Do Not Prompt User. You can put in some settings around retrying if things don't actually work properly. And you just need to point the configuration file by going on to Select and finding that file where you've got it stored on the machine that you're working on. So think about any departments which might be in there as well. So you might have things in a corporate world for marketing and sales and so forth and so on. If you're working in a school, you might have things set up around students or year groups or roles within the school. It could be heads of house, pastoral leaders, academic leaders, senior leadership team, all these sorts of things. So you can choose what departments it goes to, or you can just keep it on the existing departments. And there's an option at the bottom as well there which enables you to disable uninstalled options in Add or Remove Programs, something that you may want to tick if you don't have that already locked down with your students' devices and deployments. When you're ready, simply hit OK, and you'll see that the package is being deployed. It takes a few moments to do all of that, and if you need to, you can always click Abort to cancel that deployment if you want to. You can see Abort is just there at the bottom. But as you can see, really quick, super simple, and that has now been a successful deployment to the machine that we've chosen. And that is how you can deploy using NetSupport Notify Deploy. So there's a variety of options with Notify about how you can deploy packages, and sometimes it's wanting to change a configuration file for some reason or another. Perhaps a member of staff has moved from being a normal sort of teacher with additional responsibility across SLT or with safeguarding responsibilities, these sorts of things. Or it could be somebody who's been given permission to actually use Notify in a different way rather than receiving information, wants to be sort of sharing messages and all these sort of things. So look, if you want to change these things, it's very very simple process to do this. You simply go down here to add, and once you're in there, as before, you select your IP range, and you'll probably have it this time if it's the second time you're doing this and making changes. Click onto here to bring your IP range in, and click OK. And then choose the device, the device you want to sort of change the configuration file on. This could be for updating or for all sorts of reasons. Let's just choose this one here, for example. Now, before what we did was we went to deploy. I remember as well we can use the control click if you've got multiples and shift click to do ranges within the number of devices you've got within your setup. And as you can see, you could have quite an extensive list across your IP range. So choose the right one you want in the list that has appeared here. Go onto the drop down, and unlike before, where we just went to simply to set up, you would go to configuration. Whilst we're here, I think it's worthwhile noting as well, this is the same location where you would go to uninstall Notify from any devices as well. And so you can do that lock stock across your IT estate that way as well if you wanted to. But simply go to where it says configuration. Once you're in there, as before, just simply click start to begin. And once you're in there, you can either repoint to a new configuration file. If you want to sort of change anything in here, you can change the options just here. And when you're ready, simply hit OK. And that will go through and do that activity for you. And that is how you can either uninstall remotely or update a configuration file within NetSupport Notify. Quick and easy. NetSupport Notify integrates directly with Microsoft's AD, Active Directory structure. Within here, you can create an appropriate group policy, and from that you can apply standardized configurations to machines without the need to visit individual desktops. Now, this is great. It gives you unique security codes, and this limits access to only authorized agents and consoles. This is fantastic because it means you can integrate easily with existing systems via the supplied browser-based notification template and COM object. You can deploy agents and push out settings centrally through the console using Active Directory. And you can control the ability to send alerts through and by Active Directory policy. So the benefit of that is there's no need for router changes or support for broadcast UDP. So this is great, and we're really proud of what this does and the ease of which we can support you with your notification needs across your organisation. And these integration features mean that you can centrally manage your agents and console configurations and control access to the notification console super easily. Regular management of contacts isn't necessary because it syncs with Active Directory. As soon as Active Directory is updated, so your integration directly through into Notify is updated too. So it makes it a really quick and easy solution to use. And as you've seen in previous videos, notifications can also be sent to those selected IP ranges. Creating a notification using NetSupport Notify is super simple. And during this short section within the series of videos, I'm going to show you now how you can create a notification and set it to the right level. For the right people, for the right reasons, and all these different sorts of things. So you notice when you load Notify, you've got three ribbons across the top. You have notification, history, and schedule. I'm going to start by just creating a simple notification. Now, you'll notice from the get-go, the notification options here for previewing and sending and scheduling are all grayed out. And that's because we haven't actually put any information into the notification. The first thing I always try and do is think, what is this actual notification for? Is it sharing some news? Is it a simple message? Is it technical, security? Is it an alert thing? Is it a health thing? Is it a critical thing? So choose the option which is relevant to the type of message that you're trying to create. So let's say we are going to be sharing the results of a football match against a local school's team. Well, that classes as news. Okay, so we simply choose the option news. Then what we need to do is go down to the bottom area here where you can see the preview of what the message, the notification will look like. Okay, so congratulations. goes in like so. Kingsley School Year 8 team beat Anderson High 5-4 in a thrilling matchup. So there's a notification made. Now there are a few more options that we can choose from. Before I do that though, because I'm showing you there's different options for different notification types, let's just look at what that would look like for different notifications. So if it's a normal message, it's coloured slightly green. Technical would come up blue. Security, purple. Alert, orange. Health, sort of light green. And then critical comes up red. So it's still news though, so we'll go back to news. And we can now sort of have a little think about how that notification will look on the destination screen. So you can make it so it's always visible, auto size to fit the information that's in there, and or full screen. One little thing to think about as well, in this area here, clearly I've written a few things here, you have up to 1,000 characters, and if you're worried about whether you're getting close, you do have a little word count or character count, just down here. So you can see that message there has 75 characters of the 1,000 available, so well within the limits there. Now think about the timing and how people can respond to this message. If it's a critical message, you might actually want to, and Notify has some great tracking features in there so you can see who's actually confirmed receipt and reading of the actual messages. But let's say you just want it to appear for a certain amount of time. You can set the display timer, choose the option, then choose how many seconds you want it to appear for before it actually then disappears. And you can make it so that the message will auto close or that the user has to actually close it themselves. You can make it so a sound alert has to occur. And if you want to, and you've written something on, you've been sent an email and it says, please notify all staff of X, Y, or Z, and you've received that into Outlook or Gmail or whatever you're using for your email, you can copy it from there and drop it, go to space, and then just go to the paste option here. It obviously supports the standard keyboard shortcuts as well, so Control V on a PC or Command V on a Mac would sort that out for you. Obviously Control V would work as well on a Chromebook. So that's your setup there. When you're at this stage, you are ready to go through to the section where it says Send Now. You can preview it, you could schedule it, or you could clear it all and start it again. One thing to draw your attention to in this screen as well is the advanced mode. You'll notice some little icons in the top right hand corner here. So you have an option here first of all called Customize, and that will enable you to customize each of the different types of layouts. So I just choose that option there. You can see where you can then change the colors, and the options for changing all those are up here. And notification type and colors and so forth and so on are all in here. You can drop in custom images as well if you want to. Just next to that option here, next to Customize, you have Advanced Mode as well. So Advanced Mode, noticing that the ribbon is exactly as it was when I first started this little video. If I go on to the Advanced Mode, we'll see we've now got a few extra options. So I could go and make my message double size, for example. I could choose to make it centered or full screen, top left, top right, so forth and so on. We've still got the same options around timing here and sounds and things. What we also have is some options to format the text. So you can see the font choices for Dana. I can highlight the text just here, and I can change that font to, let's say, Trebuchet MS. Alternatively, I can make the font bigger, smaller, make it bold, italicize it, underline, change the background color, the actual color of the font, center it, right align. All those things are there in the Advanced tab. So that's how you set up a basic message using NetSupport Notify. In the last video, you saw me create the basic notification. The layout makes it super easy and clear to create that notification. And as I shared, you can send any kind of message you want, whether that's an emergency alert or just a simple update. It could be a scheduled fire alarm drill reminder, or sharing important news with staff or students, reminders that people need to use hand sanitizers, things about weather conditions. And as you've seen, there are these different options related to the choices of message that you send just here in notification type. With its screen presence, users cannot ignore the message, and it saves precious time for those urgent message alerts. And as alerts appear on all the machines and on recipient screens, that allows them to adjust the level of impact the notification has. For example, emergency evacuation messages may be set to fill a screen, whereas an alert about the mail server being down could be smaller and more discreet. This also helps ensure the notification is proportionate to the size of the monitor. One thing to be aware of, when you're sending a full screen notification, an OK button can be displayed instead of the timeout function. This allows the recipient to not only confirm they have received and read the notification, rather than the sender assuming that they have, but to dismiss the message immediately once seen, helping to quicken the response time. When receiving a notification at the bottom, it will now include the sender's name, and this is also handy for better understanding the nature of the message and its emergency. So we've gone ahead and thought about all these different things and setting up our notification. We've thought about formatting, all these different things. It's now time to think about how we're going to send that message. And under normal circumstances, most circumstances, doing these things in the moment, you would at this point go to send now. But it's important to note that if you wanted to, you can go to schedule, you can go to preview and see it coming up as you wanted to, or you can clear it and just start again. I'm going to go to the option send now, and this is where we choose the recipients that are going to receive this particular message. And there's a variety of ways that you can do that. So for example, you can choose the people the message is relevant for. So over here, as you've seen, the message is about winning a football match, thrilling match as it was, and we can choose who would receive that. Now, your server will be set up with different layers depending on your context. Okay, but in this setup, I'm just going to send a message to students. So I can just go to students like this, and when I click students, please notice I tick and untick the send option. Currently greyed out because I haven't selected students. As soon as I select students, the send option comes up. Please notice send all is always available. Now send all, as the name suggests, will send that notification to every device, screen within your organization. So if you want to be bespoke and send it to specific groups, make sure you select those specific groups and then use the send option. Alternatively, just send it to all. You can have tracking on and off, and this tracks notifications by recording the receipt and the acknowledgement time. You can also include offline PCs if you want to, and you can explore different areas within your setup based upon whether you're looking at the server or by department, by IP range, or just to specific individuals. And if you're reconnecting or connecting a different server, then you can just refresh that and that will bring all that back up for you there. So look, at this point, I've got my message written, did that previously. I've come through to here, I've chosen my students as my recipients, and I'm now going to hit the send button, and that will now appear on all of those machines. Now you'll notice at this point, okay, that I can actually see a bunch of things happening over here on the right hand side. Okay, so I can see my recent messages. I've got the football message. I've got some other ones sent recently. You can see these over here. And they're different colours based upon the type of message that they are. So Sports Day results is just news. A standard message about Children in Need Day is green. And then there's a technical one here for email being offline. A suspicious warning, that's a security alert. If it was even more critical, you could choose the critical one, which will make that option there then red. And you'll notice as I'm hovering over each of these items here, you can see a little pin appears. Now it may well be that you have some regular messages that you send regularly. If you choose the pin, let's just say we're going to have email offline as a notification that's going to be used on a regular basis. Simply tap or click onto the pin notification here, and that changes it from being within the, and it's still here obviously, but it's not just in recent, it's also then in the pinned section here. From this section here as well, what's lovely, and we can see this in recent and in pinned, if we select any messages, we can easily and quickly reuse those. Now it could be reused like so go for reuse. But it doesn't send it all straight away. So, warning, and you can then update it based upon what you're trying to achieve with that particular message. Okay, so warning, crisis averted. We can change all these things back again. So now you can just go to news, and you could just say, suspicious person was spotted. Please now send your students to lunch, or whatever it is you wanted to do around all of those things there. So that's a really useful feature. So you can pin these different notifications of ones that have gone out recently, and then you can pull them back through from your pinned notifications. So you have some regularly used types of notifications. It could be about the email server going down. It could be about reminding people to log off by 5 o'clock because the machines will be powered down at 5 o'clock. Whatever you choose to do, it's a really nice, simple, quick and easy way to make it so that you can get the most out of the system when you're using it. There are lots of handy little features in NetSupport Notify that can really help you as a user. Here you can see I've got a health notice to remind people on site to use hand sanitizer. I'm going to go over here and send it now, and I'm going to choose to send it to staff and students, and then I'm going to send it. Now once I've sent it, what we'll spot is over here, change from pending to here. Now depending on how we got it set up, so that's cleared really quickly because it had a timer on it for 5 seconds, and that gives the acknowledgement that everyone's clicked it and gone through. But if we wanted to set it up so that people have to actually click it and close it themselves, and we do that by making sure that auto close is turned off and user close is turned on, like so. Having that there in our little notifications over here, we get to see who's cleared it, how long it was, what the response times were, all these sorts of things. Now, obviously, once everyone's had that acknowledged, it disappears over here. So how can you then see what's actually happened? Well, very simply, all you have to do is go to your history section here. And from here, as you click through your different notifications that you sent, so you get different information about whether things have been received, whether they've been acknowledged, what time they were acknowledged, so forth and so on. So if you're worried about those things disappearing, then you can get information about all these things over here. And you can click onto the drop down and get more information based upon the notifications you've sent as well. And in a really nice way, you can actually filter the types of responses you see on the screen here. So currently we have everything turned on, i.e. all. Okay, and if I only want to sort of perhaps look at, let's say, news and messages or just the technical ones, I can filter to only show those related messages over here on the side. And obviously, as you start to stack up all of your different messages across here, then it's a great way of being able to see what you've got and where and so forth and so on. As you may have heard me mention previously, you can schedule messages with inside NetSupport Notify, and that can be used in a variety of ways. The first way I'm going to show you is by just reusing something that I've set before. So remember to use your hand sanitizer. I'm just going to right click on here and choose reuse. Alternatively, I could just select it and go to reuse at the top here. So you choose the option, and as you can see now, it populates it straight away into here. So all I need to do now is just schedule that. I can preview it beforehand, and remember, we can make these messages full screen, auto-sized, always visible, so forth and so on. I'll choose a full screen option just here. I'm going to preview what it will look like so, and preview the full screen notification comes up, and I hit yes, and I then get my full screen preview, as you can see here. And this is just the same as you would see on the screen in front of you on the destination device. So now I'm going to schedule that. So rather than going to send now, like you've seen me do previously, I'm going to schedule this one. So simply go to schedule, like so. And I choose a few things now. So I'm going to choose who it goes to, so staff and students. And we can now see that we've got the schedule kind of flow through here. So frequency, daily. It could just be every X minutes or every X hours, daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, yearly, or once only. I'm going to just go for once only on this instance. Actually, no, tell them that I'm going to do it every 2 hours. So I'm going to go for every X hours. Start time. Well, let's start at the beginning of the day, shall we? So let's say the school starts at 0900. So just change the frequency there. Start from now. and then the frequency appears here. So every 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, you choose what you want. I said 2, so make it 2 hours, and you can choose to have it as a thing that continues forever, or you can choose an end date. Well, school's going to finish sometime just before Christmas, so let's just go to here and pop it in just before Christmas. So schools will most likely break up on the 17th of December, so I'll choose the 17th of December. Actually, just make it a bit better, go to the Saturday, so we've got full coverage on that final day on the Friday. And now that I've done that and that schedule is all there, I can then just save that using the option here, and that has now saved that to my schedule. And if I jump across to the schedule tab just up here, we can see the schedule here. Now if you want to see more things on the schedule, you can change it to being a daily, a weekly, or a monthly view. A handy little thing as well is to go to today, and that will jump you straight through to today's date on the calendar. So when you're scrolling through and using different dates and you want to see what's actually happening on a particular day, simply hit today just here, and I'll take you straight back to today's date. That's it. So there are many ways in which you can make Notify work for you in your organisation, but one thing which is super important is that idea around emergency events and the ability to quickly send an emergency. You might only have a heartbeat to actually get a message out. So Notify comes through with a great option for you to have a HotKey combination that will automatically send through a response in the instance of an emergency. So to do this, you need to simply load up the agent configurator, and you'll notice across the tabs across the top here, you have this emergency response option. So to get this set up, pop in what you want to actually happen. So send an emergency response, put what the emergency message is. Make it a pretty standardized message, and make sure, obviously, link to this you share with relevant people within your organization what this actually means if it's sort of triggered. Then you've got the HotKey combination, and you can be relatively open about what you choose to be the HotKey combination. But one thing which is a standard is the fact that it has to include the escape key. And then simply just choose what other keys you need or want to make the actual emergency message come up. So escape plus, and then you get a choice of things like shift, control, and alt. So let's say I'll just choose shift. You can choose a variety here for up, down, left, and right arrow. Let's go for the up arrow. Okay, you can get it to show feedback when the message is sent, and so forth and so on. And these options are here. Now you can click OK when that's done, and that will add that into your config.dat file. But how do you actually get that working on each of your different devices and all these different things? Well, to do that, you'll need to simply open up your deploy tool. And when you're going through your deploy tool, like you've seen in the previous sections, what you need to do is just basically point to that config.dat file, making sure you've chosen the machines you want for those users to better have that HotKey combination working on in the case of an emergency. Deploy it out, and that's it. It's as simple as that. So again, Notify trying to have you covered under all sorts of circumstances, and let's just hope you don't have to use it, frankly. But it's just nice to know you've got it there if you do. Whatever your working setup, Notify has you covered. Now, obviously, during the pandemic, lots and lots of people have been WFH, working from home and with remote workers. But you still want to sort of share pertinent messages sometimes across your corporate or your education space with your IT deployment. So, with a few simple changes to its configuration, you can send any notification you want to your remote workers through the Notify server.